Hey, what's going on, guys? Kitsune TCG here, back with another video, and today we're doing an update on my Swordsoul strategy. This is obviously going to be post Supreme Darkness, so we are taking advantage of the new Tenyi cards. I just thought I'd kind of show off, kind of what the deck looks like. Obviously, it is still a rogue strategy at this point, but I definitely think it's a very fun and interesting one to play. Protos is going to always be a bit of a problem for, pretty much any matchup. This deck has a lot of different attributes, so you have a wide kind of range that you can usually go into, so it does make it pretty interesting. So I thought I'd just kind of show off what the deck looks like and go from there. Obviously, a lot of your Swordsoul lineups are going to be pretty similar. Still running 3 Moyi. It's obviously the best normal summon you have. 3 Long One. It's not really as part of as many like hands like that you want to get to as possible anymore. Obviously, once we lost Baron, you kind of lost the Omni Negate, so Long One is nice. If you do draw it, it's great. You're going to get into, the 10-star Synchro Long One that does get you some additional kind of like banishes and interruptions. So it's obviously great if you can get to it, but, a lot of times you're not searching it out unless you have some of the other pieces already in hand. We got the 2 Taya, and then 2 Ecclesia. I'm only running 2. I've seen a lot of people do 3 on Ecclesia, but I think you see it often enough going second with 2 that I don't feel like 3 is necessary, but if you want to, you can definitely put 3 in there. Obviously, we are running 3 of the new one, the Saruya. This is just a great card. Before, you'd be pretty stuck if you had your Moyi get Impermed or Veilered. Now you still have something to go into, so definitely seen more times where they're not as likely to imperm this, because you're not usually as dead if that goes through, so it does kind of make plays a little bit more interesting, but this card definitely just makes the deck a whole lot better. Only other one we're running 3 of is going to be Ashuna, and then we have cut down at Hard 2, and then we still have Vishudu at 2. I think these are the perfect number for these now. Obviously, we have upped our Tenyi count by 3, so even for Moyi, you're obviously still pretty likely to have something in hand to be able to show. And then we have the 1 Shrihana, and then the 1 Protos. Obviously, Protos is great in this deck. You're pretty able to search it out pretty easily once you go into Chi-Shao, or if you just happen to hard draw the Emergence or Protos itself. We do have 3 Emergence. I'm running 2 of the Heavenly Dragon Circle. I still think it's pretty nice to have a second one in deck, whether or not you've drawn it, or, it's just something you can get out on another turn. I still think 2 is nice in this deck to have. And then I have 1 Vessel, and then the 1 Field Spell here, as well as the 1 Blackout. From there, just kind of round it out with Hand Traps, Nibiru, Ash, Veiler, and Imperm, I think, are pretty much the kind of primary ones that most everybody's running in the main deck. Obviously, it depends on your locals. You can change that out for anything else that you think would work a little bit better. But these are definitely the ones that have kind of worked for me for this deck. And yeah, that's kind of the main deck. It is 42 cards, so if there's anything that you wanted to cut, very easily you could just take out one of the Heaven Dragon Circles, and I think this deck would be just fine. But I've definitely not really had any issues, I think, with it breaking any situations, so I'm happy with what it's at. And we'll just go ahead and go over the extra deck. Alright, and then just going over the extra deck here, you have the 1 of Yazi. Obviously, this is something you can still make, but it's not super important. You're not really going into this that often. And then we have the 2 Baxia. This is obviously really great in here, just letting you have going second, obviously helps you kind of interact with your opponent's board, plus it's your ability to kind of shut off Nibiru turn 1. We do have the 2 Chi-Shao, the 1 Draco Berserker, the new Muladra. Obviously, it has some other great effects in addition to being able to search the field spell, but you're primarily just using it to grab that field spell out, and then a lot of times I've been just linking this off, after I've, gotten rid of my non-effect monster Link monster for the Heavenly Dragon Circle. So, you know, just kind of some options you have available with this card, but, you know, it can definitely do some damage if you're making it to turn 2. I've got the one Dragite. I still like this in here, you know, obviously Mogi being a water, and then you have Shrihana as well. I still think this is a pretty good card in some matchups to just kind of leave in the extra deck. I do have the Chaofeng. This is obviously, you know, if you make the Baxia go into Chaofeng, you can shut off lights. So, you know, and you can do that before even committing to your normal summon, just depending on like what kind of hand you have. So, really kind of great option here. You know, there are times that you can shut off light, and then, you know, if you bring out Protos, you can shut off dark. And really, not a whole lot of decks are not going to be affected by that, even just kind of blind going first. So, definitely a really great card to still play. Do have the one of Qingying and the one of Quixing Longone. These are obviously your 10 stars that you can kind of make with Longone. Not as important. You know, Qingying doesn't obviously get the buff if you're not playing the Pot of Desires, but it's still a kind of great interruption as well. So there are definitely some times where it can kind of come up and be pretty important. I've got the 2 Monk of the Tenyi, the 1 Shaman, and then we are now playing the Link 4 Tenyi. This is obviously something that you can bring out pretty easily with Shiruya. Just being able to make this, it's a pretty great interruption. Obviously it does come at the cost of half of your life points, but I mean that's really inconsequential. You know, if you're going to lose the next turn, you're going to lose the next turn. So this is pretty great. Obviously adds an additional interruption on your opponent's turn, so I've definitely been liking it, obviously, in a lot of games. So that is the extra deck. I'll just kind of quickly show off a test hand and go from there. So just finishing shuffling up here, we'll go ahead and do a test hand. Now, are going to be kind of assuming, you know, blind going first. So for Protos, you know, in that situation, pretty much just always going to call dark. If you know what your opponent is playing, that can obviously affect the way you play the combo as far as like what attributes you want to leave on board for going into Protos. So, you know, that can definitely change the way you play, but generically, dark is going to affect most decks, especially in today's metagame. So, pretty good one to generically call, like I said, unless you know what you're going against. I've got Ecclesia, got Ashuna, Emergence, Surya, and another Ashuna. So, not a bad hand all around. Do have a few different kind of options we can go into. Definitely going to start with the Ecclesia here. If they do want to Ash us, we have a whole wider range of things that we can kind of go into to extend beyond that. Obviously our board is free no matter what, so we can go back into Ashuna if we want to start doing some Tenyi plays, but assuming that does go through, we can just go into Moyi. Moyi, we might as well just reveal the Ashuna, and we'll get out that token. Now, from there, obviously with this token on board, we are locked into Synchros, so can't quite take advantage of the ability for Surya, so we'll just kind of hold that for a moment and go into well, actually first, yeah. Don't really get the body on board with it, but might as well just take advantage of it now. We do have the Ashuna, we can just go ahead and use its effect. Because we do want to be able to take advantage of going into the Mula Adra first. So we can go ahead and bring out Shrihana here. And then now we can go ahead and go Moyi and the token. And we can go ahead and do the Adra. I definitely want to do it this way, so we can kind of protect that here. So go that one, Chainlink 1, we can go Moyi, Chainlink 2, and that'll just help us get a random draw here. Another Moyi, doesn't really matter. Some form of follow-up. And then we can grab the field spell. go the field spell. If we had summoned the Ashuna first, we could have had the Monk, but, you know, don't want to open ourselves up, and we wouldn't have been able to do too much beyond that if we'd done that. But with the Tenyi, you know, we could have, in that situation, gone for Vessel if we had the non-effect monster. But since we don't really have anything or any access to having one, well, we could still grab it and then just do the Muladhara into the... we've already activated... It doesn't do too much for us. Yeah, might as well. We can actually just we'll grab the Heavenly Dragon Circle. Don't really need to activate it because we have everything else that we need in hand. We can use this as kind of follow-up on the next turn. We've got the Saruya here, and we can go ahead and special that out. We can Synchro for 8 into Xiqiao. Now we already have Emergence, so we have 2 options here. We could, you know, grab a Blackout if we think that that's going to be helpful. You know, we've got the Heavenly Dragon Circle here, so that would, you know, allow us to get some additional, you know, like follow-up if we choose to go down that route. So Blackout could be pretty good, or if, you know, you think maybe the 10-star Synchro would be a little bit better for you. We obviously have the Ashuna in hand, so we can take advantage of the long one. So it just kind of depends on what, you know, you think would be a little bit better. I think in this situation, going the Blackout is kind of a slightly better route, so we'll grab the Blackout there off Xiqiao. And then we can just link away the Muladhara into... before we do that, as part of that, so you go Chainlink 1 Xiqiao, Chainlink 2 the Saruya, then bring out the Link 4. So, want to make sure you do that on obviously the same Chainlink there. But yeah, so in that situation, grabbing out the Blackout would be the best option. And then the Muladhara, we can just go into a Monk. So we do have non-effect monster on here. You know, you have something to call Earth if you absolutely need to for Protoss. And then we can go Emergence and grab that copy of Protoss. And then, you know, we have Muladhara for light. We've got water. And then you do have to kind of give up probably the Shihana, which this situation is probably fine. Let's put both water. Also, we do have to just kind of give up that Monk. Bring out Protoss. It's fine, we'll obviously be able to get the non-effect monster off of this guy on our opponent's turn, and then you have set Blackout, set Heavenly Dragon Circle, and then we can go Protoss, call Dark. So can't summon dark monsters. You know, we've got the monster negate, we've got some form of interruption here, and you know, kind of 2 in hand. Obviously depends on like what you draw off of Moyi, but yeah, I mean, deck's obviously got like a few different routes. There's obviously a few different things we could have done. Didn't have to grab Blackout. We could have had a 10-star Synchro on board as well. So really just depends on what you value, or you know, what you know you're going against. But that's the deck. I think it's still really fun, really kind of interesting to play. But yeah, let me know what y'all think, and I will see y'all next time.